So, just wanted to talk real quick about why is it that people care more about, what they put into their mouth than the outcome of what they're putting in their mouth. So, and this isn't to say that, somebody should choose any specific diet, but this is just to say that overall, from an overall health perspective, I find it interesting that people get so angry when you suggest or just even talk about like them not eating some of the things they eat or just making some healthier choices. This isn't coming from any type of vegan perspective, any type of specific dietary perspective at all. I'm just saying the psychology behind an individual who cares more about the food that they're eating than the effect that food is having on their health. I mean, I've had some discussion with people, man, who get extremely upset if you even suggest that they maybe cut back on meat, that they cut back on dairy. If you even try to explain like the deleterious effects that these things are having on their bodies, first thing someone will say, well, you ain't a doctor. Well, no, I ain't a doctor, but that ain't the point. That does not mean that what I'm saying is not true. All right. And the fact of the matter is that people are listening to these doctors, and these doctors are the ones that's causing them to not only end up in some cases getting sick, but in other cases becoming more sick. You get these medications and you trust this guy in this white lab coat, and what happens is over time you end up on more medications and you ain't even getting better. But you gotta have your steak and eggs and all of that crap. Look, man, you can eat what you want to eat, but at the end of the day, I feel like the psychology and the reasoning behind it is selfish, especially if you got kids. I would rather make the changes necessary to having a healthier body, healthier mind, living a healthier lifestyle, so that I can not only spend more time with my kids, but have a better quality of time with them. The other argument people will make is, well, such and such ate the hog's ass and they lived to be 80, or smoked for such and such amount of time and they lived to be 70, 80, 90 years old. All right, well, that's anecdotal, number one. And number two, that is not the majority of people. That is not the majority of people. The majority of people cannot just eat pork and all this other refined processed foods and animal products and live to be 80 or 90 years old. And if you don't believe me, just check the statistics. And even when some of these people live long, the health issues that they experience and go through, the things that they have to deal with, it's just not worth it, man. Listen, I wouldn't mind living to be 80, 90 years old, but if it means me being on all these medications, halfway losing my mind, like I need help, I can't change my own diaper, or I gotta have a diaper, right? Stuff like that, like I'm good. I'm really good. Like I don't consider that living. So for me, quality of life is better, however long that may be. I would love and be very thankful if I'm able to be around with my kids until my 70s, 80s, and 90s. But I want those 70s, 80s, and 90s, if I am blessed to do such, to be like, I want to be able to play with them, have a good time with them, and all of that good stuff. I don't want to be like unable to get around, tired all the time, taking 1,000 medications, in a wheelchair or whatever. That ain't quality of life. So that argument is null and void to me. And so there's a saying that I hear a lot, and if you listen to some of the doctors YouTube and stuff like that, they say I think it's Neil Bernard, I think people like to hear good news about their bad habits. So you'll have news that, oh, it don't matter how much cholesterol you take in, or oh, meat's good for you. Look, man, you want to eat meat, whatever. I don't care. All I want to say is that you got to think, if you're eating more meat and more refined foods than you are fruits and vegetables and whole foods that is not good for you, no matter what. And there is no argument, no cogent, convincing argument that you can make that would say that, or that would back up your assertion that, oh, I can eat this way and live this long because this person did. No, because the majority of people don't. And if they do, then they got all types of health issues. And besides that, why? Why would you want to live that way? I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. And so, for me, the reason I made my changes as far as my diet goes is because my kids. You know? My kids, mostly. I want to do it for myself too, but my kids. And a person don't have to eat the way I eat or do what I do. And I kind of went a little bit further. You know, I went no animal products at all. And who knows, man? Maybe I'll stay vegan the rest of my life. Maybe I won't. Maybe I might eat a little bit of meat here and there. Honestly, at this point in my life right now, or at this point in my journey, I have absolutely no desire for any animal products at all. I just don't. And so I'm cool with that. And I'm not pushing that on nobody else. I'm not suggesting that everybody do that. I'm not saying that being on a whole food, plant-based diet, vegan diet is the best thing for everybody, that everybody can thrive off that. All I'm saying is that we have to recognize that the things we've been doing in this country when it comes to our diet is killing us. It's killing us. It's stealing our quality of life. And we listening to all these messages, this propaganda that's coming out from the industry, that these things are good for us that are not good for us. They are killing us. It's genetically modified. It's full of chemicals. And yeah, you might feel good now, but man, 5, 10, 20 years down the line, over time, as those things build up in your body, it's going to lead to health issues. It's going to lead to health issues. And that's not saying that just because you might be on a vegan diet or such and such a diet, that you won't have health issues, or that you won't get cancer, or that you won't have a heart attack. All right? Of course, that would be just foolish to say that. However, it is to say that you want to minimize your chances of those things happening, and eating more fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, and those types of things are more beneficial to you and will cut your risk. That's just a fact. The science proves it. All right, so have you ever wondered why, when you are sick or when something happens and you go to the doctor, have you ever wondered why they ask about your diet first? And then when it's time for you to get better, and you ever wonder why they want you to cut out certain things, like animal products being the first thing, especially meat, right? They want you to cut back on that. It's a reason for that, man. There's a reason for that. And doctors, like medical doctors, are not nutritionists, dietitians, all right? Understand that. They get very little nutritional training, okay? They are trained to either medicate you or cut something out of you. That's their training, to medicate you or cut something out of you. And, the ones that do the surgery, they good at what they do. And the ones that medicate you, they good at what they do, working for the medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry, I mean. But they're not trained to offer you good nutritional advice. But they do know this: when you're sick, you need to cut out certain things, animal products being one of them, and there's a reason for that. So, this whole psychology of people, man, just being offended. And then you got this propaganda that come out about how a vegan diet is worse for you than the standard American diet or than eating meat. Look, that's just bull crap right there, number one. And like I said, again, that's not to say that everybody can be on a vegan diet. That's not saying everybody should be on a vegan diet. Some people probably can't take it. Some people might have different issues and things like that might prevent them from being on a fully vegan diet. All right, and honestly, that's fine. That's fine. But to get on a diet that's well balanced, is necessary if you want to have a good quality of life, however many years that may be. And especially for black people, man, we are some of the most foolish people when it comes to food. We think that our food need to be greasy, fried, full of sugar, and then we wonder why we got some of the highest rates of heart disease, diabetes, and things like that, colon cancer. There's a reason for that. Look at our culture. Look at how we eat. And it ain't our fault to an extent, because this is how we was raised. And when you raised in poverty, this, you know, I remember growing up eating like sugar sandwiches, man. Like literally sugar sandwiches. Yeah, we was poor, bro. We was poor. And we would eat sugar sandwiches and mayonnaise sandwiches, like we white bread. You know, Kool-Aid with like a ton of sugar, like half of a bag of sugar in it. You know, everything was fried or something like that, fatty. And you know, that's how we raised. So I can understand it, being an adult, feeling like that's how you supposed to eat. But, you know, when we having strokes, heart attacks at the age of 40 and 50, when we getting type 2 diabetes at a rate that is just ridiculous, there's something to be said about that. Okay? There's something to be said about that. Okay? And as a culture, we need to make changes. We need to realize, and you know, the industry isn't helping us out. You walk through the average impoverished community, you know, there's not a grocery store for miles. There's no fresh produce for miles. You got all these dollar stores and corner stores that don't sell nothing but processed food and sugary items. So, you know, what people gonna do? What they gonna do? And not everybody has transportation to just get up and go to the nearest grocery store, right? And go shopping. Or so that's something that has to be figured out. But still, as an adult, it is your responsibility to do the best you can with what you got for you and yours, man. Especially our children. You know, we raising our children this way. We raising our children this way to think. I see so many kids, man. I've been in the food service industry for years now. And it's a shame to me how many kids I see that are literally obese, man. All they eat is fatty, sugary foods. And it's like the parents don't see nothing wrong with it. It's funny because my kids, like, yeah, they eat their junk food. And they not totally vegan like I am. You know, they still eat some animal products. But for the most part, we keep it whole foods for them. And they to the point where they really don't even desire, like, meat that much. And I don't force it on them all the way. I mean, I do definitely, like, we're not going to be eating a lot of certain things, period. But I kind of just let them, you know, I let them go a little bit, man. Can't be, you know, I don't want to be too hard. I don't want to push them away from it. I want them to stick with it. And I always explain to them why, you know, we're doing the things we're doing and why we eat the things that we eat. So I always make sure that they understand that. I don't just tell them, no, this is it, and it's just that way. No, I explain to them why. You know, I explain to them the benefits of eating fruits and vegetables and beans and stuff and what's in it. I explain to them the detrimental effect of eating too many processed, refined foods and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't shy away from letting them eat some candy sometimes and some chips and, you know, whatever, man. But, you know, for people, I think, honestly, it should be child abuse for a parent to have obese children. You know, they want to take your kids away when you give them a little spanking in public, but your kid can be 3 times heavier than they supposed to be, and that ain't child abuse. You know what you about to put that kid through? And I'm not saying parents do it maliciously, because they don't. I don't think they do for the most part. You know, parents is doing what they think is best, man. And that's the problem. That's what they think is best, and there ain't nobody telling them or really in their ear about, you know, otherwise. They just listening to the information that's coming into them, that they being inundated with daily on a daily basis on TV and everything like that. But, you know, I don't know. That's just something I just wanted to bring up. Like, we have to take responsibility for what we putting in our mouths and what we are giving our children, and be more conscious about health. Be more conscious about what's happening to us, what this society is doing to us as a whole, what this society is doing to us. It's not helping us, man. The culture that we have in this country is becoming more and more detrimental to just a healthy, holistic lifestyle. Things are being made way more complicated than they need to be. Diet is being made way more complicated than it needs to be. People are being told they need to do A, B, C all the way down to Z, when it really ain't that complicated, you know. But as a grown man or a woman, you know, you got to make some changes, whatever that might be, that's going to move you in the right direction, you, your loved ones in the right direction of just being healthier, being more aware of what's going on. These people only give us what they give us, and they only, promote what they promote because we want it. If the consumer didn't demand it, then they wouldn't supply it. Why you think things like plant-based milks and plant-based butters and plant-based this and that are coming out now? Because the population the consumer is demanding it more. So the consumer has been demanding some changes, and people have been listening. So we have the power. We have the power. We have the control. But see, what they want to do is brainwash us into thinking that they have the power and control, and they do that with subliminal messages through ads, commercials, and things like that. They do it early, man. Putting up the milk posters in school, making people feel like milk is just superior nutritional food. No, it's not. It's not. And research is showing that. So, but look, man, here on Mind, Body, and Lifestyle, we all about our mind, getting the knowledge, getting our body right, so we can have healthier, more fuller, holistic lifestyle. So I just wanted to go off on that little rant real quick. Now I'm about to go to work and deal with this mess. I'll talk to y'all again soon.